Microsoft Power BI Certification, PL-300, Exam Questions and Answers Set Number 3. You have a query that retrieves data from a table that contains more than 8,000 rows of data. In Power Query Editor, you notice that the column statistics for each column shows a count of exactly 1,000. You need to ensure that the column statistics for each column shows the statistics based on all rows that are returned by the query. What should you do? Option 1, add a table buffer applied step to the query. Option 2, change the query load type from import to direct query. Option 3, create a top and row count parameter for the query. Option 4, from the query window, select column profiling on the entire dataset. Correct answers: from the query window, select column profiling on the entire dataset. Explanation: selecting column profiling for the entire dataset will change the column profiler to analyze the entire query dataset. Adding a table buffer applied step will only cache the entire query in memory during refresh. The query load type in the model will not impact how many rows are used by the column profiler. Using a top and row count applied step or applying a parameter will not change how the column statistics feature calculates. You import an Excel file into Power BI Desktop and begin to analyze the data in Power Query Editor. You need to identify outliers in a text column within the data source. Which information should you use from Power Query Editor? Option 1, the min and max values in column profile. Option 2, the top and bottom entries in value distribution. Option 3, the value of the distinct entry in column statistics. Option 4, the value of the unique entry in column statistics. Correct answers: the top and bottom entries in value distribution. Explanation: the top and bottom entries in value distribution identify outliers, which appear, respectively, the greatest and the smallest number of times in that column. The value of the distinct entry in column statistics indicates the total count of different values. The value of the unique entry in column statistics indicates the total count of different values that appear only once. The min and max values in the column profile of a text column designate the entries which appear, respectively, first and last in alphabetical order. You use Power BI Desktop to transform a query that retrieves data from an Excel spreadsheet. You need to view and modify multiple steps in all the M code. Which interface should you use? Option 1, Advanced Editor in the Power Query Editor. Option 2, Data View. Option 3, Formula Bar in the Power Query Editor. Option 4, Model View. Correct answers: Advanced Editor in the Power Query Editor. Explanation: the Advanced Editor in the Power Query Editor provides the ability to work with all the M code used for shaping data in a query at once. Data View provides access to data within a dataset. Model View provides access to the data model of a dataset. The formula bar in the Power Query Editor provides the ability to edit only one step at a time. You have an Excel spreadsheet that contains 3 columns labeled year, 2021, and 2012. The entries in rows for the first column consists of names of the individual months in the year, while the other 2 columns contain the sales amount for each month for the corresponding year. You import data from the Excel spreadsheet into Power BI Desktop. You need to transform the data so it will consist of 3 columns, with the first one containing month, the second containing year, and the third containing the sales amount for that month and year. Which transformation should you use first? Option 1, Pivot. Option 2, Remove columns. Option 3, Transpose table. Option 4, Unpivot. Correct answers: Unpivot. Explanation: selecting Unpivot will allow you to shape the current table into the one with the year, month, and sales amount columns, which will need to be renamed afterwards. Pivot would be applicable in the opposite scenario, in which flat data needs to be reorganized into one containing aggregate values for each unique value in each column. Transposing would switch rows and columns. Removing columns would result in a table with insufficient data to perform Unpivot. You have a query named FactSales that retrieves data from a SQL Server table. You need to update the query to prevent new columns that may be added to the table in the future from getting imported during dataset refreshes. You select the existing columns in the query. Which two applied steps can you use in Power Query Editor to achieve the goal? Each correct answer presents a complete solution. Option 1, choose columns. Option 2, remove columns. Option 3, remove other columns. Option 4, transpose. Correct answers: choose columns, remove other columns. Explanation: using the choose columns and remove other columns options will allow you to explicitly select the columns that you want to keep. This enforces the requirement that new columns will not be automatically added in the future. Using remove columns will delete the existing columns in the table, and new columns that get added in the future will still be imported automatically. Transpose treats rows as columns and columns as rows. It will not limit the number of columns being imported. You have an Azure SQL database that contains two tables named Sales Orders and Sales Order Details. You load the Sales Orders and Sales Order Details tables into Power BI Desktop. The tables have a relationship based upon the Sales Order ID column. You need to combine the two tables into one table. The solution must meet the following requirements. There is a row for every Sales Order Details row in the resulting table, even if there is no corresponding Sales Orders row. For every Sales Order Details row, the row in the resulting table includes the corresponding Sales Orders row data if the Sales Order row exists. Any Sales Order row data that does not have corresponding Sales Order Details rows is not included in the resulting table. What should you do to combine the two tables? Option 1, append the tables. Option 2, merge the tables using the full outer join kind based on the Sales Order ID. Option 3, merge the tables using the inner join kind based on the Sales Order ID. Option 4, merge the tables using the left outer join kind based on the Sales Order ID. Correct answers: merge the tables using the left outer join kind based on the Sales Order ID. Explanation: to construct the resulting table, it is necessary to merge tables using the left outer join kind with the Sales Order Details as the first table. Appending tables in this context would not make sense, since they do not have the same columns. Merging using the inner join kind would not produce a table that includes a Sales Order Details row where there is no corresponding Sales Order row. Full outer join would produce a table that includes Sales Order row data that do not have corresponding Sales Order Details. You have created a Power BI dataset and need to create multiple reports. What is a benefit of using a Power BI dataset as a data source for multiple reports compared to each report having a separate dataset? Option 1, it increases the number of scheduled refreshes that can be configured for the Power BI dataset. Option 2, it increases the speed of the reports and visuals connected to the Power BI datasets. Option 3, it prevents sensitive data from being shared with report consumers. Option 4, it reduces the number of datasets, refreshes, and storage requirements in the Power BI service. Correct answers: it reduces the number of datasets, refreshes, and storage requirements in the Power BI service. Explanation: when multiple reports use the same Power BI dataset versus each having their own import model, you reduce the number of datasets that are needed to be published to the Power BI service. Fewer datasets mean fewer refreshes, less storage space requirements, and less overhead for admins. You are evaluating whether you need to create a dashboard in Power BI. In which scenario do you need a dashboard instead of a report in Power BI? Option 1, you need to add filters. Option 2, you need to add slicers. Option 3, you need to display visuals on multiple pages. Option 4, you need to display visuals that use different datasets. Correct answers: you need to display visuals that use different datasets. Explanation: the ability to combine data from multiple datasets is one of the features that is available in dashboards but not supported in reports. Dashboards do not include the filter, visualization, and fields panes that are available in Power BI Desktop when working with dashboards. Dashboards, unlike reports, contain only a single page. You are evaluating whether you need to create a dashboard in Power BI. In which scenario do you need a dashboard instead of a report in Power BI? Option 1, you need to add filters. Option 2, you need to add slicers. Option 3, you need to display visuals on multiple pages. Option 4, you need to display visuals that use different datasets. Correct answers: you need to display visuals that use different datasets. Explanation: the ability to combine data from multiple datasets is one of the features that is available in dashboards but not supported in reports. Dashboards do not include the filter, visualization, and fields panes that are available in Power BI Desktop when working with dashboards. Dashboards, unlike reports, contain only a single page. You need to create a dashboard from a published report in Power BI. Which option in the report should you use? Option 1, copy visual as image. Option 2, export data. Option 3, pin visual. Option 4, spotlight. Correct answers: pin visual. Explanation: the pin visual option allows you to pin the visual to an existing dashboard or create a new one. The copy visual as image option allows you to copy a visual as an image to clipboard. The export data option allows you to export data in the XLSX or CSV formats, but not create a dashboard. The spotlight option allows you to highlight a visual on the report page, but not create a dashboard.